Hey guys, it's Dylan Self with JTech. We got our '03 Jeep Liberty. Today what we're going to do is we're actually going to test the compressor coil and the circuit. See how everything's looking. Basically, we're going to start with a visual inspection. With that, what you're going to do is you're going to visually inspect everything. Start to look at the compressor itself, make sure the outside looks good, there's no damage. Then move on to the coil and the face of the pulley. The face of the pulley would be called the clutch, and then right behind it, where the actual pulley is the coil itself. Look at the clutch, make sure everything's good in there, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to do a feeler gauge test. What you're going to do is you're going to take a feeler gauge and you are going to check the gap in about, you want to do it in about 4 different spots of the face of the coil, to make sure that everything's alright. Look it up on ProDemand or AllData or whatever you're using. Look up the specs of it to make sure that everything looks good. You do it in 4 steps. That way you know it's equal all the way around and it's not off kilter. From there, we are going to find the connector, which easy way to find it is right behind the pulley. You'll see a wire or the connector itself. You'll disconnect that. You want to check the connector on the compressor side, make sure there's no damage, make sure there's no corrosion or anything crazy. Look at the wire itself, make sure it looks all good. Then on the actual connector side, check that connector, make sure there's no corrosion, no damage. Then check the wires that are coming off that, make sure the insulation's good and there's no damage to those wires. From there, pretty much what you're going to do is from there, what we're going to do is we're going to test the circuit. We're going to start at the fuse. We're going to use a test light, and we're going to test how the fuse is working good. And then from there, we're going to test the ohms of the coil itself on the compressor. By that, we're just going to use an ohm meter, touch the terminals, see what it comes out to. Then we're going to do a physical check to where we're actually going to jumper wire the 2 prongs in the connector to the 2 terminals of the battery, and you should hear a loud pop where the clutch is actually engaging to the coil. Alright, let's get to it. Alright guys, one of the good places we're going to start is we're going to start at our fuses, which is pretty much at the beginning of the circuit. We're going to test it with a test light. Pretty basic. Hook your ground to the ground side of your battery. Always good to start. Make sure your test light's working. From there, we're just gonna look in our box, figure out which one is the AC clutch fuse. That would be this one right here. So we're then going to touch it. If we get a light, good. And we're gonna touch it on both sides. You'll see on the fuse there's 2 little metal pieces on the top of the fuse, and pretty much just touch those on each side, and you got good hot on both sides of the fuse. Alright, let's continue. Alright, now over here on our compressor itself, what we're going to do is we're going to test the ohms of the coil itself. Pretty simple. There will be a connector coming off. You'll see it actually coming off right behind the pulley. You'll find that connector. It'll either be a 1 terminal or a 2 terminal. This one, in this case, is a 2 terminal. So what we'll do is we'll turn on our ohm meter, and all you've got to do, it doesn't matter which direction, is you just need to touch the 2 little metal prongs inside the connector. And you should get an ohm reading. On this one I'm getting 4.2. As long as you're getting something and you're not getting 0 or an OL, which is an overload, which pretty much means that there would be a break in the circuit. From there, we're going to do a physical test of the coil itself. And with that, what we've got is I've got my test lead kit. Pretty basic. Pretty much just take your little alligator clips, and I like to hook it on the outside of the plastic to make sure that they don't actually touch each other. hook it on the outside of the plastic with one of the jaws going in and touching the terminals. And you want to make sure that your two clips don't touch each other, because we are going to hook this straight to the battery. Now with the other end of them, what we're going to do is we're just going to hook one to the positive side of the battery, and we're going to take our other one and we are just going to touch the negative side of the battery. And what should happen is we should hear that loud click is the clutch engaging, and we know the clutch is good. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all your basic tests to test how everything's working. Remember, do your visual inspection, test your fuse, test the ohms on the coil, make sure that it's not 0.0 or OL, make sure you're actually getting some ohms, and then do the jumper wire test to make sure that your clutch is fully engaging. Alright, I'm Dylan Self with J-Tech. Thanks.